Whenever I or anybody else talks about simpler times in America, more traditional times, the leftist will attack relentlessly. Oh, Glenn wants to go back to the 1950s, the days of Jim Crow. Or they mock, golly gee, Wally. Glenn would think it'd be real neato if Leave It to Beaver were replacing your black and white Magnavox with that evil Glee and junk and stuff, you know? While things were obviously far from perfect in the 1950s, we have come so far on many fronts. Some of them really good, some of them not so positive. We have lost our way as a society. I saw a video yesterday that was so disturbing that I haven't been able to even watch the whole thing. I'm going to play a small portion of it here because you need to know what's happening if you haven't seen it yet. The Blaze was the one that broke this story nationally, and now this thing is viral everywhere. We need to not just look at the woman on the bus, but we also need to see what's happening with our kids. This is audio from a school bus and an elderly woman who is the school bus monitor. She is sitting on the bus, and the kids are relentlessly ripping her apart to the point to where she is crying. And no one says anything kind.
I sweat just from you talking, you fat ass.
Oh, shit, look inside of her face.
Oh my god, you're so fat.
Yo.
Karen, you're fat.
Dude, you're so fat. You take up like the whole entire seat.
Oh, no. Put those
Oh my god, your glasses are foggy from your freaking sweat, you fat ass.
Dude, put those glasses back on. I can't stand looking at your face.
If you look into our eyes,
Karen,
you're gonna turn into stone.
Karen, put those sunglasses back on. Freaking looking like a troll.
Fat ass, look at all this flab right here.
What's that do?
Unless you have something nice to say, don't say anything
How
else.
about you shut the up?
Dude, her gum is brown. Her freaking probably your breath smells so bad.
I know. Dude, look
I
at
can't even listen to it. I can't even listen to it. They're just, all they're saying to her is, you're so fat, you're so ugly. They're poking her. This is a woman, what, 60 years old? This is somebody's grandmother. And you know what kills me? The main voices you hear are girls. When a society loses its girls, you're in real trouble. This is so sad on so many levels. Let's start here. A busload of middle schoolers. These are 12 and 13-year-old kids. There's no way that they would have been brazen enough, nasty enough, callous enough to continue the onslaught like this against an elderly woman for 10 full minutes in the 1950s. Oh, I know there were problems in the 1950s. But look how we have fixed most of those problems and at the same time gone in the opposite direction. Secondly, even if they would have been, the driver would have slammed on the brakes at some point, gotten out of his seat, and administered some old-fashioned ass-whooping with these 12-year-old kids. If not the driver, I do believe there would have been at least a student or two among the 30-plus on board who had the guts and the decency to stop or at least try to stop it. The kids in this video are dead inside. There are a ton of factors that have contributed to this slide. Maybe TV, movies, music, video games that desensitize. Lack of the nuclear family unit. Both parents now outside the home. No one raising the kids except the government. The schools not being able to have any kind of control. The not my kid mentality. The fact that every kid now has an attorney. I don't know what's gone into this toxic mix. I can tell you those are a few of the things. But let me ask you this. We're coming up on the 50th anniversary of the Supreme Court ruling eliminating school prayer. Have things gotten better or worse? Has our scholastic standing worldwide improved or degraded? Are our kids better behaved? Are they happier? Or are they more tragic, more prone to suicide, and more almost completely out of control? Are schools safer or much, much more dangerous than they were? These kids don't even see another human being anymore. You know, I talk a lot about. Last night I did an episode on TV about how the biggest anti-Semitic thing in the history of America, most people don't even know. Did you know that Ulysses S. Grant took the homes away from Jews? Ulysses S. Grant signed an order. All Jews, Mississippi, Kentucky, and is it Tennessee, I think? He said, all Jews out. Excuse me? I've never even heard that. General Order number 11. Jewish community freaked out. They lost their homes. They were just chased out. They wrote to Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln turned it around. And immediately when he saw it, he rescinded that order and said, huge mistake. I've never even heard of that. Now, we talked about that last night. We talked about the Native American roundup. We talked about the Japanese internment camps. How does that happen? How does a society actually say, you know what we're going to do? We're going to weed out the inferiors. We're going to get rid of all the blacks. Margaret Sanger couldn't do it. She couldn't do it until she made it about Planned Parenthood, until she made it about compassion. That's the only way that Planned Parenthood could sell their genocide to Americans. The Germans could just be clear. Oh, we're just going to kill the inferiors. We couldn't. We had to have compassion. And even then, we still had to have compassion. Even then, when push came to shove, we rounded up the Japanese. As soon as you had a progressive president saying, you're in danger, you got to round up these Japanese. We did it. Now, how is that possible? That is possible because you no longer see humans as humans. You no longer see people as the same. You no longer see that spark of life in someone else. You no longer see the spark of the divine in someone else. You no longer say, there, but by the grace of God go I. That's how a society melts down. And you tell me how these kids are not melting down. They don't see the suffering of this woman.